Hello everyone, my name is Maria and this is Iceberg Studios Devlog number 0. Today I wanted to take a moment to talk about my game dev experience thus far, and for this first video, or should I say this 0 video, I honestly struggled a lot to decide what I actually wanted to talk about, and if anyone would even care to listen, what the true motives were behind making this video. And to that end, I actually started to spy. We can't say that. I started to look at other YouTube videos. In specific, I was looking at YouTube videos from creators in their early days, as I just kind of wanted to get an idea of what they were like and, how they honestly went about creating their first video. Of course, the obvious answer to my question would be that I just honestly wanted to build a community, share my experience, in hopes that someone could learn from my mistake, and to hopefully keep a record of where I've been and where I currently am in the future, and of course the process that I took to get there. So with that in mind, I decided to take my fingers and just tap 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 on the keyboard, and I started to write this script. And if you're seeing this video, that means I was successful in the end. Before we get started, I honestly have to be, honest here. This isn't the first time I tried to build a community, talk about game dev, or even share my progress on my first dream project, aka The Steps of Divinia. It was about a year ago. I started the project and went onto my old dusty Twitter account that honestly hadn't seen any activity for quite some time, and I started posting to start getting followers. It came at a time when I was still really early in my deving career, and I had just purchased Thomas Brush's full-time game dev course and started to go through it and realize that community building was probably the most important thing to start doing at the beginning of the development. But other than that, I really had no idea what I was doing, where I was going, only that I had a dream of creating a game. However, about 4 months later, I stopped posting on Twitter, and that dust on that Twitter account started to come back as I fell silent. My dream, the dream that many of us share of creating our game, had seemingly flared out. So, what had happened? Why did my own passion die out, or had it? Why has it taken me a year before I started posting on Twitter again, and for me to create my first video? And, well, honestly, the question of what did happen is what I wanted to answer in episode 0. And the reason I honestly called this Devlog 0 is that it comes at the end of year 2022, but I also wanted it to be a promise. A promise from me to you, back to me. And that it's a promise I'm making to you, and a promise I'm also making to myself, which is to keep doing these videos, no matter how bad they are, no matter how many views they get, and honestly to get back in the habit of showing my progress on Twitter. You see, something I found out over the past year is when you see all these talented people on Twitter, and even the few that I've seen on YouTube, and you see their amazing likes, and you see all the conversations surrounding their game, but yours tends to do poorly, it honestly can get yourself caught up in trying to be perfect and amazing just like them. However, that isn't always the case, as, well, everyone's definition of perfect is different, but not only that, there are a lot of variables that go into how much likes someone gets on a video, views, or even on a Twitter post. Quality is definitely part of it, but is not the end-all be-all, as they say. So therefore, I hope with these videos, you as people can find some kind of value in them. But with that being said, I've kind of ranted a lot, and so ultimately I just wanted to talk about pitfall traps that have kept me silent, so hopefully you, yes you viewer, can avoid these sticky problems. And yes, I stay sticky because, well, it is very easy to convince yourself that you will just do it later, or that for you it does not matter. And I can assure you, fellow game developer, or fellow YouTuber, or fellow self-independent artist, it does matter. It matters now. If you want to be self-independent in any kind of way, you need something to show to the world, and you should be showing it to the world, no matter how terrible it is. So, why are you still watching this video? I still kind of hope you are. You should be doing your own thing as well. And that's because what happened to me was simply I got so caught up in the idea of my own perfect that I became upset when I just really couldn't reach it. Thus, I would spend so much time learning game engines like Unreal or even Godot, and I tried to improve my terrible art skills through classes on Udemy or even on YouTube. Not to mention, I went back and I really tried to refocus my learning on what game design actually was and what it meant. Honestly, at the end, I was just so embarrassed by my own lack of quality and the lack of engagement that I was seeing on Twitter that really I created my own undoing. I was the ultimate problem that needed a solution because, you see, I wanted to do so much, not just for myself, but for other people too. I really wanted to play their own game, leave feedback for them, and help them succeed in their own right. And while I do believe I had good intentions with all of that, and while I think self-growth and improvement are extremely important things, there is a reality that we all need to face, and that reality is time, and how much time all of us really have. You see, I've come to realize, which should seem obvious, but it wasn't, that most of us, like myself, work jobs, have family, and or we have other commitments that take up quite a lot of time. Therefore, we really can't do everything, no matter how much we would like to. And I used to have an extreme hatred of using assets or the idea of even hiring a freelancer to help me with my own project. You see, I had it stuck in my head that I needed to be the person that did everything, because, well, it was my project and I was the only one who could do it right. But I watched Thomas Brush's video on being a solo indie dev, I will link that in the description, and basically he said something like this: a solo developer who tries to do everything themselves will be outpaced at every corner. This hit me extremely hard as I realized there was just way too much for one single person to do. So like me, you have to decide, do you want to create a game and release it in about a few years from now? Or would you rather spend 6 years studying all of the aspects of game development before you even get started? So, to wrap this video up, did my passion die out? No, I don't think it did. I think for many of us who struggle, we attempt to create beautiful things and we just have to deal with a lot of unknown variables. Honestly, too many what ifs and too many obstacles, many of which life tries to throw at us, that keep us in our current position. Whether that is that life is keeping us satisfied and that we don't need to change anything as we are living comfortably, even if the desire is to have something or make something extraordinaire like a video game. For many of us, it can lead to outlandish expectations. At least all of that is in my own experience. Thus, from my own experience, I think all of us should take a step back sometimes and just remember what it is that we are truly striving for. What it is that, at the end of the day, we are truly hoping to achieve. Part of that is remembering that it takes longer than a day, a month, and even a year to get there. That most oftentimes than not, especially when it comes to game dev, that we need to start slow. But we still need to set a goal and keep moving toward that goal no matter what. And remember to never give up on that dream, even if all we get today is one more inch forward. That is an inch further than where we was yesterday. So if you take any one singular thing away from this video, I hope it is this. Do not strive for your own version of perfect or the perfect vision that you have for your project. Instead, you should strive to do the best that you can do in the here and now, and realize that you can always improve upon it later. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help. Seriously, game development is a long and arduous journey. A journey that is best shared with a friend. Anyway, that's really all I wanted to say today, and really, I hope you've got at least a little bit of value or insight into this video, and maybe you can relate to some of what happened to me, and maybe you can keep it happening to you. That's going to be it for me. Remember, my name is Maria, and I wish you all a happy New Year's, and cheers to a beautiful and bright 2023 to all of us who are working toward a new dream next year. I hope to see you all there. Bye-bye!